In this video, you're going to learn how to create this CRT television overlay effect directly inside After Effects. And there are 0 plugins required. This is a fantastic way of taking your boring, dull footage and making it look super unique and stylized. If you're feeling lazy, then head to the description where I've pre-made you a bunch of CRT effects. All you have to do is just drop and drag them onto your video clips and jobs are good. And that's enough talking, let's jump into After Effects. First thing first, let's create our composition. Head over to the new composition button, either here or up in the top where it says composition, new composition. Give it a name, do not just leave it as untitled. I know what you're like. And the first thing we're going to do is make our frame a bit smaller at 720p resolution. With the width, type in 720, and the height, we will type in 480. Now down in the frame rate, we want to change this to 20. A lower frame rate will give it more of that kind of choppy, grungy sort of look. Depending on the length of your clip, change the duration down here and then hit OK. Boom, we've got ourselves a composition. Now we need to bring in our video clip. So just drop and drag your video clip into the composition and it will load it into the timeline down here. Now, chances are it'll look really zoomed in, and that's because your video clip is really big and this is a small frame because it's going to be low quality. So with your clip selected down here, press S on your keyboard to bring up the scale option. And now click and drag on this blue number to the left. And that's going to decrease the scale. We can bring it down until the whole thing is visible in the frame, but we don't have any black bars. And we can click and drag with our mouse just to align it to the part that we want to see. So the example clip I've gone with here is a music video style clip of me being a rapper. And I've gone for that because this effect is super popular in the music video industry and chances are that's what you're going to use it for. Step 1 is add an adjustment layer. We can right click here, click new adjustment layer, and it should appear above it. If it's not above it, just click and drag it until it is at the very top of the timeline. So the first thing we're going to add is the Mosaic effect. So head over to your effects and presets down here. If you can't see it, just go to the top and see window and make sure effects and presets is checked. So in the search bar, we're going to look for Mosaic and it's under the stylized category and just drop and drag it onto your adjustment layer. Boom. You should see the controls for the effects up in the top left-hand corner. If you can't, just make sure you're on the correct tab where we can see them up here. We're going to change the number of horizontal blocks to be 360, and we're going to put the same number in for the vertical blocks. We're going to check the sharp colors box. This just gives it a first layer of like a pixelated effect. We can see just by toggling it on and off, it is reducing the quality slightly, which is what we want for this. I know it seems counterintuitive, but it's what we want to create this effect. Now let's just zoom back out. Next, we're going to add a grid to the video. So back down here, just type in grid and it'll be under generate and grid, drop it on there. We're going to adjust the size of this grid and that's going to create the sort of scan line effects that we can see on the video. So for the size from, we can change that to be the width and height sliders. Then this allows us to add in the values manually. The width is going to be 2, the height is going to be 4, and the border is going to be 1. There we go. This has just created a really, really small, fine grid on top of our video. If we zoom in, we can see it's created this really fine grid. Then we can change the color to be black. So just bring it down to the black corner here. And we can set the blending mode to be hard light. And then that's going to allow us to see the video underneath the grid. If we zoom all the way in here and I just toggle that on and off, we can see it's added this grid effect onto our video. Next up, we're going to add CC lens. This is going to emulate the curved glass look that you see on these old CRT TVs. Often, because the glass is curved, it kind of warps the image ever so slightly. So that's what we're going to add for the CC lens. So just type that in, drag it on top, and immediately it will make it a circle, but we can fix this. It's just at maximum curvature at the moment. For convergence, we can make that minus 180. And for the size, we can put 300. And we can see here, this very much looks like the edge of one of these old TVs. It's square, but it's kind of curved at the same time. And don't worry, we will fix the black corners in a minute. Next, we're going to add a vignette, vignette. This is like a black shadow that lives around the edge of the frame. For the amount, I'd put that to be 120, and the angle of view can be 30. Just so I can show you what that is actually doing, I'll just put a white square in replacement for the video. And if I toggle this on and off, you can see it's a very subtle, but it is a noticeable difference around the edges. It just darkens it a bit, but it keeps the center the same brightness. Cool, we are nearly there. All we have to do now is we're gonna add 3 separate glow layers. And these glow layers are gonna be different brightness and different intensity to give it kind of a broad, slightly overexposed, a bit of a light leak sort of situation. So in the effects, just type in glow and it will just be under stylize, drag that in. Glow number 1, we want the glow threshold to be 46 and the glow intensity to be 0.5. We're going to duplicate that glow effect by clicking on it and pressing Control or Command D, depending on whether you're on a Windows or a Mac. We will change the settings on the second glow for the glow threshold to be 45 instead of 46. So 45, and the radius is going to be much bigger at 50, and this will kind of smoothen out the glow a bit. And then one last time, we're going to duplicate this glow. So we just click here again and press Command D. On the third glow, we will set the threshold to be 35, the radius to be 200, so really wide, and the intensity can stay at 0.5. Now that's all the glow that's been added. Now we're going to use one more adjustment layer to scale up the clip to get rid of the black border around the edge. So just right click, new adjustment layer, make sure it's at the top, add the transform effect, drop and drag that on top, and then just scale it up with the scale here. Just click on this number and move it to the right. That will increase the value and therefore make our video bigger. We're just going to bring it up to the size until we cannot see those black corners anymore. And boom, there we go. You've got yourself your own CRT television overlay effect. Now, all of these settings that I've just shown you can be adjusted depending on what clip that you use. I advise you go back through and tweak them, see what works well for your specific scenario, because the lighting, the angles, the colors of your video will be different from mine, and therefore changing the settings will definitely give you a better result. If you want to take this one step further, what we can do is we can add a subtle flicker effect to the glow. Now, normally this would involve a third-party plugin, but what most people don't know is you can actually do this sort of stuff directly inside of After Effects if we go inside of the expressions of the effect. So click on the adjustment layer that has the glow effect. We're gonna press on the down arrow, head over to Effects. You can see all the layers of effects that we've added to it here. Click on glow number 1, click on the down arrow and find where it says glow intensity. Now, just from moving this left to right, we can see what effect that will have on the video. And I'll just put that back to 0.5. Now, holding either Option or Alt, depending on if you're Windows and a Mac, I'm holding Option. And I'm gonna click inside of this stopwatch. Now this will open up kind of like a secret menu where we can manually adjust the expressions of this effect. We can click here, press Enter to create a new line. And now we want to type in wiggle, and then we can do an open bracket. And we're gonna write 2 numbers here. We can write wiggle, and then we could do 10,1. Now this means that it's going to wiggle this value 10 times every second and it's going to do it at the intensity of 1. So if I just press spacebar just so we can give this a watch, we can see it's now added a very, very harsh flickering effect. So if we want to make it less harsh, we can bring this down to 0.2, for example, 0.2, and we should see that the flickering is less intense. There we go, a little bit there. And if we wanted to increase the frequency of the flickering, so speed it up, we could just put a higher number. So if you just put 50, it's going to be 5 times as much. And you can play around with these numbers as much as you like. That's just a little top tip for you on how you can take it one step further and really emulate that kind of flickery sort of CRT effect. Now, if you don't want to bother with any of that, just head down to the description. There will be a link to get yourself a pre-made set of CRT effects. All you have to do is download them and just copy them into this folder if you're on a Mac and this folder if you're on a PC. Restart After Effects. They'll pop up like any other effect inside of your effects panel. Drop and drag them on and all of that is done for you. That is available in the description. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you learned something. Play around with the settings. Everyone's videos are going to be different. Let me know if you found this useful. What are you doing with this effect? I'll be curious to know. And if you want to learn anything specific, just write it in the comments below and I will check it out. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next one.